He thought he married the love of his life. But the woman who once whispered sweet promises into his ear would soon be the one to silence him forever. What drives someone to turn love into a weapon? Was it betrayal, desperation, or a secret so dark it demanded blood? In a small, quiet town where everyone knew everyone, a single phone call shattered everything and exposed a terrifying truth hiding behind a smile. She didn't just kill her husband. She murdered the illusion of trust. On the outside, it looked like a picture-perfect life. A beautiful house tucked into the corner of a sleepy street. A couple admired by friends, envied by neighbors, and trusted by family. Mark and Olivia Hartwell, high school sweethearts who seemed destined to live out a quiet, happy life together. Hay had it all. Mark worked as a firefighter, a local hero, known for his courage and kindness. Olivia was a registered nurse, compassionate, charming, and always the first to organize community fundraisers. They were the couple everyone wanted to be, but sometimes the most beautiful facades hide the darkest secrets. And in the Hartwell home, something was festering. Something no one, not even Mark, could see coming. They met when they were just 17. Olivia was magnetic, intelligent, witty, and graceful. Mark, loyal to a fault. He loved her more than anything, even when things began to shift. Friends noticed at first. Olivia became more distant, more cold. Mark looked tired. His cheerful personality dulled over the years, replaced by a quiet tension no one dared to question. He stopped showing up at family gatherings. When asked, Olivia would explain it away. "Oh, Mark's just tired from work. He's been so stressed lately." No one pushed. Why would they? Mark had never spoken a word of complaint. But behind the walls of their dream home, Mark was beginning to live a nightmare. It started small. Arguments over bills. Silent treatments that stretched for days. But soon, the tension grew darker. Mark confided in a close friend one night, something he rarely did. "I don't know what's happening to her," he said. "She's not the woman I married." He spoke of her controlling behavior, her cold stares, the way she would twist every conversation into something venomous. Then came the accusations. Olivia started blaming Mark for things he hadn't done. Missing money, broken objects, late arrivals. It was like she was rewriting reality, bending it to her will. Mark was unraveling, but he kept it hidden, because love, he believed, meant loyalty, even in the darkness. By their 10th anniversary, things seemed to stabilize. They were seen together more often, smiling at events again, walking hand in hand through the grocery store. Everyone thought they were finally healing, that whatever storm had passed was over. But they didn't know that Olivia had already made her decision. A decision that would end a life and shatter the illusion of love forever. It was a Thursday night, the kind of night where nothing feels out of place, but something lingers in the air. Mark Hartwell never showed up for his shift. That alone was strange, even alarming. He was dependable. The type to arrive 30 minutes early, coffee in hand, gear already prepped. His colleagues called. No answer. They waited. Still nothing. By morning, a welfare check was made, and what officers found inside the Hartwell home would change everything. Mark's body was found slumped over in his recliner, TV still on, a half-finished drink beside him. No signs of struggle. No broken glass. No forced entry. He looked peaceful. Almost too peaceful. But the air was off. Stale. Unnatural. The paramedics couldn't explain it. And when the coroner arrived, things got even stranger. There was no evidence of trauma. No overdose. His heart had simply stopped. But Mark was only 37. Healthy. Strong. No known heart conditions. And yet he was gone. Olivia, through tears, told police that Mark had been under enormous stress. She claimed he had been experiencing chest pains for weeks, that he refused to see a doctor, that he collapsed suddenly, just as they were watching TV. But her behavior? It didn't match the words. Officers noted how calm she was, how controlled. There was no tremble in her voice, no urgency in her eyes, just detachment. Still, grief looks different on everyone. And without solid evidence, The case was quietly closed. Cause of death: cardiac arrest. Mark Hartwell's name was added to a list of inexplicable tragedies, and life moved on. At least for everyone else. 2 months later, a routine audit by the coroner's office revealed a disturbing inconsistency. A small amount of digoxin, a heart medication, was found in Mark's bloodstream. Not prescribed, not reported, and not stored in the home. In normal doses, digoxin helps regulate the heartbeat. In the wrong hands, it can stop a heart without a trace. A reinvestigation was opened. Suddenly, the story of a grieving wife began to unravel. Investigators subpoenaed Olivia's search history, her pharmacy records, and questioned her colleagues at the hospital where she worked. The results were damning. She had researched lethal digoxin dosages weeks before Mark's death. She had access to the drug. And worse, this wasn't the first time one of Olivia's loved ones had died unexpectedly. An ex-boyfriend, a former roommate, a frail uncle, all died within 5 years of each other. All sudden, all unexplained. The pieces were falling into place, and what they revealed was terrifying. On a quiet Monday morning, Olivia Hartwell was arrested without resistance. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She simply smiled. It was a smile that haunted the arresting officers for months. Not of guilt, not of grief, but of control. As they led her away, neighbors peeked through blinds, stunned. Because no one ever suspects the woman with the warmest smile. We know you accessed digoxin. We know about the searches. We know about the deaths. We just want to understand why. At first, Olivia stayed silent. For hours. Then she leaned in, her voice cold. People think love is gentle. It's not. It's possession. It's power. And when you realize someone's slipping away, you hold on the only way you can. Mark, she explained, was drifting. Talking about changing jobs. Moving. Maybe even leaving. She felt him disconnecting. So, she made a decision. If she couldn't have him alive, she'd have him as a memory. Twisted logic. Calculated madness. At first, Olivia stayed silent. For hours. Then she leaned in, her voice cold. People think love is gentle. It's not. It's possession. It's power. And when you realize someone's slipping away, you hold on the only way you can. Mark, she explained, was drifting. Talking about changing jobs. Moving. Maybe even leaving. She felt him disconnecting. So, she made a decision. If she couldn't have him alive, she'd have him as a memory. Twisted logic. Calculated madness. Court-appointed psychologists labeled her behavior as malignant narcissism, a disorder characterized by manipulation, obsession, and the absence of remorse. But even they were baffled by her composure. She's one of the coldest individuals I've ever evaluated, one doctor testified. She doesn't see her actions as murder. To her, it was love in its purest, most protective form. The courtroom gasped, and as the trial began, Olivia's mask slowly cracked, but only slightly. The trial was a media circus. Headlines screamed, "Killer wife or tragic widow." Did love drive her to murder? Angel of death, the nurse who killed for affection. Prosecutors laid out every detail, the search history, the stolen medication, the pattern of deaths that followed her. The defense? They painted her as a woman betrayed by abandonment. They claimed trauma, childhood neglect, a fear of being left behind. But the jury wasn't convinced. The verdict came swiftly. Guilty. First-degree murder. Sentenced to life in prison, with no chance of parole. As the judge read her fate, Olivia simply looked up and whispered, "At least now, he'll never leave." The trial was over. Justice, at least on the surface, had been served. But stories like Olivia Hartwell's don't end with a verdict. They echo. They haunt. They leave a trail of quiet devastation no sentence can erase. Mark's family never recovered. His mother stopped attending church. His sister, once full of light, moved across the country, away from memories that burned too deep. They didn't just lose Mark. They lost trust. In people. In love. in the illusion of safety. But then the letter started. Olivia began writing to her former colleagues, to reporters, even to the victim's family. Letters that painted her as the true victim. She claimed she was misunderstood, that Mark had manipulated her, gaslit her, forced her hand. "He said I was nothing without him," she wrote in one. "So I made sure he'd never be without me." Each line more unhinged than the last. Local journalist Dana Ellis, who had followed the case from the beginning, sensed something off, something unfinished. So she dug deeper. And what she found chilled even seasoned detectives. Olivia had been married before, to a man named Caleb Pierce. He died in 2012. Cardiac arrest, they said. He was 33. At the time, it was ruled natural. But Caleb's mother had always insisted it didn't feel right. He was healthy, she told Dana. Strong. Then suddenly gone. The autopsy had shown nothing suspicious. But when re-examined under the light of Olivia's recent crimes, the signs were eerily familiar. Trace levels of digoxin, unexplained heart failure, and Olivia had been the only one with him that night. The pattern was undeniable now. This wasn't about one impulsive act of jealousy. It was a pattern, a need to possess, to control, to destroy what she feared losing. To the world, Olivia was a grieving wife. But behind closed doors, she was a calculating killer. In a rare prison interview, Dana asked Olivia one final question. "Do you regret what you did?" Olivia paused. Then, with a soft smile, said, "I regret trusting anyone but myself. Love is supposed to be healing, but in the wrong hands, it can become a weapon." Olivia Hartwell's story isn't just about obsession. It's about the danger of unchecked charm and how far someone will go to never be left behind. Because sometimes, the person who says they love you most is the one who hurts you worst. If this story shook you, you're not alone. Stories like Olivia Hartwell's remind us how thin the line can be between love and danger, how trust can be a mask, and sometimes, the real monster wears a familiar face. Have you ever questioned someone's intentions too late? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice could help someone else spot the warning signs before it's too late. Don't forget to like this video if you want more stories that reveal the hidden truths behind smiling faces. And if you're new here, subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next story, it might be even darker than this one.